Hello, my name is Audrey, and I work with Child and Family Services as the Assistant Program Director for the Adoption Journeys program. For those who don't know, Adoption Journeys is a statewide program that provides a range of supports and services to families formed through adoption and guardianship. This is a grant-funded program, so services are provided at no cost to families. Services can be really flexible, but include individual family interventions, advocacy, support groups, social activities, and trainings. And really, our mission is to help adoptive and guardianship families in whatever way we can to help them feel successful. If you're interested in learning more about Adoption Journeys, please feel free to reach out to one of our area offices anytime. More information can be found on the CFS website at the link listed below. So this evening in this event, we're presenting about ways that we as mental health professionals use creative outlets to support our own wellness and regulation. May is Mental Health Month, providing a good time to think about how our individual minds work, what we each need in order to feel well, and how to support one another. As professionals, we are very fortunate to be able to spend our daily energy investing in the emotional and mental health of others. And the only way that we can do that successfully is if we are also investing in our own emotional and mental health and well-being. The creative outlet I'm sharing about this evening is crochet, and specifically making doilies with crochet thread. In this video, I'm going to talk for just a couple minutes and then show you a collection of some of the doilies that I have made over the last year, most of which were made in the last 2 months during quarantine. I learned to crochet about 4 years ago when my sister kindly agreed to teach me. In case you're unfamiliar, crochet is a yarn craft where you're putting together patterns with a single crochet hook such as this one. I enjoy making many things with crochet. I started with hats, scarves, and shawls like this one, then moved on to making animals such as my elephant friend here, and most recently got really into making doilies such as this one. Crocheted lace items like doilies have been made for at least 200 years all around the world, and one of my favorite qualities of this craft is being a part of carrying on this long legacy. For example, some of the hooks that I used, like this one, once belonged to my own grandmother, and the colorful thread that you'll see in some of this evening's projects is vintage thread that I can tell from the labels and the price tags was probably produced in the 1940s or 50s, and it has just been waiting patiently since then until I stitched them together in quarantine, which really brings me back to being able to talk about the mental health part of this. Overall, I have found crochet to be a very regulating and at times meditative activity for me. It involves focus, repetition, and counting, which are all healthy brain recommendations, and it also produces interesting and often beautiful results. The meditation piece rings extra evidently with doilies, as they are worked in an expanding circle, much like a mandala. Each round is different from the last, building out in a circular symmetry. I had made 3 or 4 doilies during 2019 once I got started there, but now in the last 2 months since the pandemic fully took root in our consciousness and daily activity, I have made more than a dozen. My standard activity now in my quiet evenings at home is crochet. It's a good way for me to end my day in peace and great satisfaction. It's a good way to unwind and also to draw focus to something that is enjoyable and manageable. I also find joy in searching for and trying out new patterns, maybe something that's more complicated or more interesting or will produce a different shape or different thread. It also provides a sense of accomplishment when I finish a piece or I have mastered a new skill. And if I decide that I'm not enjoying a pattern or just no longer feel like making it, it is great fun to sit and unravel the whole thing. One of the still rather magical things to me about crochet is the fact that each piece is made with a single, unending piece of thread, yet you can make so many different shapes and designs. I recommend crochet for adults and children alike. It's a skill that can be learned at any point, and you can start with very simple projects and then based on your interests can go in many different directions once you learn the basic steps and stitches. Working with crochet thread, like what you'll see here, does require some fine motor dexterity, and it took me lots of practice before I reached this point. But otherwise, even thread crochet really is an accessible craft for those with the interest and the time to learn. And there are patterns out there for every skill level, and many YouTube videos and websites if you don't have a friend nearby to teach you. So now to see the projects. Each doily that you'll see was made with a pattern I found online, and the pattern credit will be shown with each doily. Each doily is made up of literal thousands of stitches, so depending on the complexity of the pattern, each one took me between a few hours to a few or several evenings. So we will start with the first doily that I ever made, which does remain one of my very favorites.